Hi, welcome to my channel, What Debbie Makes. I am here with an April kind of wrap up and some May plans. It's been a while, hasn't it? I haven't been here for the last month because we had the Easter holidays and both my children had a sickness bug, so that was fab. So I didn't get any sewing done or really anything done in those 2 weeks. And then I had a tooth out. I had to be sedated for it because I hate the dentist. So that was another kind of week out where I didn't feel like sewing, and I started volunteering in my local school. So a little bit of my time has been taken up with that. But this week I got a little bit of sewing done, but most things I want to show you are from right at the beginning, just before the Easter holidays. So I thought I'd just do a wrap up of everything I've made this month rather than my weekly wrap ups. So what can I start with? My favourite thing, the thing that I've been wearing non-stop since I made it is, and I will put a photo in because you're not going to be able to see this, it is the pocket skirt from Peppermint magazine with the absolutely humongous pockets, and it's got a little label which I think is a little, I can't remember where that was from, but it's so cute. I love this skirt and it's so lovely. We've had some really nice hot weather at the moment and it's just so light and flowy and super comfy to wear. I am living in it, and I was really skeptical when I made this. I did not think it was going to work. I've never used double gauze before and it was really hard to like cut up. I didn't think any of my lines were straight, but actually when it's sewed up I was really pleasantly surprised. It's worked out really nicely. The pockets are huge and they do stick out quite a bit. I've seen some people have like folded it in somehow, but I can't figure that out. So I don't know how to do that. But anyway, it's quite useful actually having big pockets, and especially I was decluttering the house the other day, just shoving everything in my pockets to move it around the house. Really easy. The next thing I have made is another heather sweater. I think this is NH Patterns, and I've made it for school in this amazing jungle print. I think this fabric's from Pound Fabrics. Annoyingly, I didn't have this ready. I didn't order the fabric in time for when I went to the zoo with the school. And that's got another little label in. I always forget to put the labels in until like afterwards, and then I'm having to add them in. But I used different ribbing, which I didn't do on my last heather. On my last heather I just used the same fabric, and I did also on the waistband because I needed to. I didn't have enough of this like in length wise to do it, but I feel like these don't need to be as long. I think because this was so much stretchier than this fabric, I could probably make these shorter because they're not very tight. Like if I pull them up my arms, they don't stay up. So I'm quite tempted to unpick it all, cut a bit off, and redo it so that they're a little bit tighter. But the neckline's fine and it is super, super comfy. But it is a bit bright. So I think it's fine. So when I work in school, I help out in year 5 and year R, and I think this is fine for when I'm in year R, but I'm like a bit scared to take wear this in year 5. But yeah, I haven't worked up the courage for it right just yet. I've been kind of wearing it just around the house at the moment. So those are the two things that I made like just before Easter. And then because of everything that happened over Easter and having my tooth out, I kind of lost my sewing mojo. And so I thought I'll start with something relatively easy. So I thought I'd start with a project bag. Right, this was supposed to be 11 by 11, but I can't add up, apparently. I can't adjust patterns very well to figure out what I needed to do. So the pattern was, I think, for like a 12 by 13 or 12 by 14 inch pattern. So I was like, okay, what bits do I need to change on this and this bit to make it fit my 12 by 12? And I obviously did it completely wrong because this was like 2 or something and this was 8. I'm not sure. I think this makes 9. So when I cut it out, this back bit was like the 12 it was supposed to be, and this bit was not anywhere near 12. So I just cut off the bottom of the back and made this size, which isn't what I wanted because I wanted it for a 9-inch hoop, but this fits my 7-inch hoop fine. That is not got anything in right now. Well, it's got like a 7-inch hoop and a kip. I've not started it. But then again, I tried and made a 12-inch hoop, a 12-inch bag for my 9-inch hoop, which I have started. It's a cross stitch kit by Sophie Crafts, and I've just, it's her like the seasons one, so I've just started on the spring, like a little chick and a ladybird. I think it's going to be a flower, so I have started that. Oh, excuse the noise. So those two, I've made those project bags. I'll link the tutorial below for what I followed. And then I made a little knitting bag. I did not like this tutorial. They did the box bottoms so differently to how I would usually have done them. And like I've managed to like, I don't know if you can see where it's kind of creased over there. Let me show you the inside and then I can show you what was in it as well. So on the inside is where you're doing the, you're sewing it all together and then you're lopping it off and then you're doing binding on the inside. Whereas usually when I've made box bottom things, you've got like your square and then you cut off little squares in the corners to make the box bottom rather than like doing it afterwards. So I'm not sure on how I like that. But again, I kind of need to follow a tutorial to figure out the sizing that I need. Like if I was to do this from scratch, I wouldn't know what size to cut out the little squares to get this size bottom, because this size bottom is what I needed for this project. I'll link the tutorial for this as well, but I just didn't like it. But what is in here is some Drops Fiesta. This is 4-ply, I think. Is this 4-ply? Oh, I don't know actually, because it's asking for a 4mm needle. Oh no, this is DK. This is DK because I'm doing DK socks. I picked up knitting while I couldn't sew. I'm all over the place with my crafts, crochet and knitting, and I kept on seeing people knit socks, and then I was like, I really want to knit socks, but I thought I'd start with a DK weight so that I could see the stitches and it was a bit easier. So this is how far I've got with my sock. And I've got a heel and a heel turn, and I've picked up my stitches and whatnot. That's, I mean, it's not great. There's like a little, you can't really see, but there's a little hole here. I don't know if I fix that up later, but I'm nearly at the toe. I thought we'd go with some shorties because I didn't want to work like a huge foot, leg part and then get to the bottom and not be able to do the heel. I was like, that's a waste of my time. So I think I did like 8 of the rows of ribbing and 8 rows of knit before getting into the heel. So yeah, I'm working on that. I'm doing that on a magic loop, which was really daunting to begin with, but I thought it would be less daunting than the DPNs. So that isn't my first knitting project. My first knitting project I have put away in my winter gearbox, because my first knitted project that I did last week was these like fingerless wrist warmers. And this is from the book Learn to Knit, Love to Knit by Anna Wilkinson. And so I did grey and then a bright pink. I'll insert a photo of them. That was actually really nice to do. I ended up making 3 because the first one, I wasn't reading the instructions very well. So when I mattress stitched them together, like this, because you do it flat and then you wrap it around and then you do the mattress stitch together, I did it right sides together, which is what I would do in crochet. So then they, like the ridge, it was all really ridgy on the outside. So I couldn't bother to rip it about. I thought there was mistakes elsewhere on it as well. So, because it was my first one. So I just thought, you know what, I'll just make 2 more. And I made 2 more and they're fine. So, and there was one more project, a crochet project that I've started. I am doing a hexagon cardigan and it's going to be in these colours. So this is how far I've got. I am making them at the same time, so I've kind of got up to the grey in the second one. But you'll fold it like that, and then that'll be the arm, and that'll be the body, and then you attach it down the back. So yeah, I'm working on that as well, and that was following a pattern by Crafty and a Cuppa. So, and I made this the other week, but I've lopped off the ends because it had far too long ends, and I think I remember saying I'm just not going to use it because it was just really long and horrible when it's tied up. But now I'm going to use it because I've locked them off. So that was what I got done in April. So I had a few things come in from Pound Fabrics, and I actually don't have plans for them, which is really bad. I think I bought them because they were cheap. They came with the jungle fabric. I think something else, but I can't remember. But I got this, I don't even remember what they are now. This feels like a cotton or a poly cotton, but it's just a stripe, navy stripe. Feels like I've got about a metre. I'm not sure. But I thought that might be quite a nice top, maybe. And then because I wanted to practice with viscose, I've never sewn with it before. I just picked up this plain from Pound Fabrics, and I think it was like £2 or £3. It was really cheap. I think I've got 2 meters, maybe. I was thinking maybe trying another Etty camisole because I've made it before, but I just want to give it a go. And this is like my practice fabric before going into something nicer. And then I picked up this gingham, which is also, I think, about £3.50 a metre. And I don't have plans for this, but I thought it would be quite nice to try like a shearing dress for the summer. I'm not sure if red's my colour, but yeah, I think that might be quite a nice idea. I've seen like Tammy Handmade has a shearing dress on her channel, so I might give that a go with that, because I think I've got 2, possibly 3 meters of this. I've got quite a lot of it. And so for plans for May, I don't know if I'll get to those fabrics. My first plan is to make the Bardon dress by Peppermint Magazine, and I got this fabric which I bought a while ago. I think I had bought it with this in mind, but I'm slightly worried it might be a bit see-through, because you can kind of, I don't know, so I don't want to line it because it would be a nice summer, like a maxi summer dress. But again, it was quite cheap, so maybe it is just a tester and we'll see. But yeah, that is one that I really want to make next month. The other thing I would really like to make is the Harper cardigan. I think that's Sinclair patterns, because that's the thing that I'm missing from my wardrobe. I've realised this since going into school, is that I don't have any layers. Like, it's quite chilly in school, especially if I'm in year R and they've got the doors open. If I want to wear like my pocket skirt with a little top, then the only thing I've really got is my denim jacket. I've got some like really long cardigans, like long line cardigans, but I don't want to wear those. I don't want to buy any cardigans, so I thought the Sinclair pattern comes in like a crop length. It comes in various lengths and different like sleeve lengths as well, so I thought that would be a really good one to try, but I don't have any fabric for it, so I need to go hunting for some fabric. And I'm thinking like plain fabrics, like maybe a navy or even like a white. Is that really risky being in school in white? But it's not just for school, it's for like all the time really. So I definitely want a couple of cardigans in my wardrobe. And I'm also working on the Megan dress from Tilly and the Buttons Love at First Stitch book, but I've cut it all out. I've started making it, and it's just a mental block, I think, because I know it's not my style. And I'm just making it to like learn how to do things. So I bought the book, I thought I should just work through all the patterns. And I'm making it in this nice cherry, like it's a navy fabric with cherries on it, but I know I'm probably not going to wear it. And I don't like doing the facing, and I don't know if it's because I still can't figure out how to, you know, where you'd overlock the edge of a fabric to stop it fraying. I can't figure out how to do that on my machine. Usually I would just use pinking shears. I've tried the zigzag stitch and it just doesn't work really well. When I did my Coco, is it the Coco? No, the Clio, the pinafore. The facing on the pinafore is just not great. I'm wondering, could I just bias bind the neckline of the Megan? I don't know. So yeah, I'm kind of putting it off. Like, I have started it, but like I tried to do it a bit yesterday and I was like, just not feeling it. So I don't know. And then my next plan for May is I would really like to make a start on some 4-ply socks. I know I've not even finished my first one of my 8-ply, but it's the Winnick Mum sock-along for May, for like her 10th year anniversary from when she first started the sock-along. I'll link her blog down below, but I thought I would try doing her basic vanilla 4-ply sock pattern on the date that she starts her 10-year anniversary thing. So I just thought that would be quite nice to do. But then I'd have 2 pairs of socks on the go. So I don't know, but you will see. But those are my plans for May. I hope you had a lovely week, and I will see you next time.